My name is Drementfh, and welcome to Thorium Gaming. So we're back with Nightly Valor, our attempts to bring the light of the Lady of the Lake to the entirety of the old world. So we've been setting up to deal with the Azrae, as I believe they're called, the Wood Elves. We've got our king and everything set up down here. We've got Grimaldus and Phoeniux ready to bust in from the north. Up in the extreme north in Corone, our capital, we do have Adadon, and there is a little plan for him. We've got a few skull reefs and stuff laying around. I don't know if the Vampire Coast expansion mechanics are going to take over when we start collecting them. So we're going to try and get Adadon a little bit bigger and better of an army to deal with what could possibly turn into a very unique battle. We'll see how it goes. And of course, down in the southeast in the mountains, Iron Rock and Brag Dwazbag are now under our control. And we're removing a barricade there, a guardhouse. And we can build up... We could wait and get some stables. But possibly better off to go with a training field. It's hard to say, because in reality we should just be focusing on gathering up economic stuff in minor settlements and leave major settlements to all of our recruitment needs. Hard to say. But either way, Lord Eddie has been doing a massive job, and we gotta let him recover a little bit so we can keep pushing. And any battles we win against the orcs are going to be good, and the Empire is just spilling in through the border princes. Down in the lands that we hold in our Araby, not much is going on. We don't even have a lord down there right now, which could bite us in the butt later on, but for right now it's not going to be too big of a deal. So let's just start off by doing what we absolutely need to do and get Adadon some additional troops. We have plenty of peasant economy space left, so don't have to worry about that too much. And if I remember correctly, Adadon does have the Knight's Vow, so Knights of the Realm and Errant Knights will not cost as much to upkeep. So we might have to get him some more knights. It's kind of a hard thing to see. Yeah, let's grab him some Errant Knights and another set of swordsmen. Should balance him out pretty decently over the next couple of turns. And this paladin is just kind of chilling in the woods to give us line of sight, because that's where Orion and his two bigger generals are, and then Durthu himself is back in the woods. I really wish we could have caught him out in the open plains, because that would have been a big win for us. If we're going to go to war with them, though, after we get the Grey Mountain Watch, since we're fighting orcs in the east, we might have to get the Woodland Woes, I think it's called, decree. Be nice. But anyway, let's let the other nations go ahead and do their thing and see what they end up getting up to. I completely forgot about Phoenix again, but big surprise, I always forget about our great heroes. And since he's coming up towards Lord Eddie, we might toss him in that army too and have two paladins there to deal out some, you know, blessed justice and awesomeness. The Empire, who is definitely the strongest of all of the factions right now, is still pushing heroes and everything down towards the Orcish lands. Volkmar the Grim, I don't know if he can take that, or if he's just waiting for them to come out. If the Empire suffers a loss there, it's not too big of a deal, but we do have to worry about them getting pushed back out of the border princes and losing a lot of troops. We don't really want them to have to build up again, given what could potentially be coming. Yeah, I know, I'm heavy on the foreshadow when it comes to that, but let's face it, what's coming is terrible. Absolutely terrible. And having the Empire as a shield is probably the best way to do it. I mean, they're going to get beaten down pretty heavy regardless of what happens, but having them be ablative for us would definitely help out. There's no real chance we have right now of taking Carragate Peaks, though that would be a monumentally awesome thing to take. The dwarves are starting to expand again too, which is great. Not really sure what the Greenskins could possibly do at this point to salvage themselves. We pretty much saw that one coming. And he lost, so that makes the greenskins even weaker. We'll have to go down into the mountains south of Iron Rock and see if we can dredge up some support there. And Grimgor Ironhide is in a very good position to hit one of the Empire's cities if he really wanted to. I do want to see what Durthu is going to do, though. If he goes up to the Waterfall Palace, that would be great for us, but it looks like he pieced out a little bit. He could have gone to the other side of the woods again, but we'll have to wait and see on that. And the Druki are expanded across the entirety of the New World, so yeah, might have to make a push up there eventually, but the whole point is to get chivalry right now, and that means fighting against races that we already have the decrees on. Not only does it give us access to the Green Knight more often, who is basically a paladin on steroids, but it also gives us a chance to get towards the Errantry War. Kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. So if we can get to that final Errantry War and kick it off, we might be able to push and win. We spent a lot of turns building up because Bretonnia's lousy starting position. Blacktooth Mine is up in the mountains there. I kind of saw it at the edge of our vision. We might be able to push in there and take it, but yeah, who knows? May not be a true option. Alright, so we got a prosperous harvest again. We can either get minus 20% construction or some more growth. Let's go with distribute it now, and we got the Grey Mountain Watch. So that helps us out against the orcs. The Forest Edge Decree. Missile resistance when fighting against Wood Elves and leadership. I think we'll probably have to go with it, even though that's going to completely tank all of our options. It's really, really hard to pick one of them to go with. The Bretonnian Tech Tree is kind of substandard compared to a lot of other things. So, yeah, I think it's going to have to be the Forest Edge Decree, and we're going to have to just take the Wood Elves on and deal with them. Now, SRPC has leveled up again. He's on his Pegasus. He hasn't got to the point where he can get immortality yet, but that'll be coming. Let's get him Scarred Veteran. Get him some more hit points. Definitely help out. So King Lewin hasn't moved yet. We can just encamp him to kind of set up to do what we're going to do. The real question is, do we want to push in and take one of these? Because Durthu did go to the Waterfall Palace. And we won't probably have enough time to do a true siege. They'll move these armies up to kind of fight it out. So Grimaldus, let's just get you encamped. Phoenix along with you. Keep you guys there for now. We cannot outshoot Wood Elves. That you just don't. Because they're Wood Elves. You cannot outshoot them. But we can outmelee them pretty significantly. But the big key is we don't want to amp up these armies too much. Do we actually have any regiments around that could be available? No, the next one is the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis. And they unlock at level 20. What level is King Lewin? He is 18. So 2 more levels on our king and we'll get those questing knights. What we need to do right now is probably pop in another unit of Knights of the Realm and another unit of Knights Errant. And then on the next turn we should, with 14, 14's pushing it a little bit tight. Let's grab another set of archers while we're at it too. 15 is not ideal. Very, very not ideal. We're going to leave him where he is. And Phoenix, I'm not going to forget about you this time. I want you to go up to kind of explore near Black Iron Mine, see if there's more than one way in there. I'm hoping there is. Doesn't really look like it. But we'll get him to explore up that way. Carrick 8 Peaks is nigh unassailable at this point. Especially with a couple of lords out front of it. But if we push down to Crooked Fang Fort, we can take that. And oh, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. That would be terrible. We can take these two cities, possibly. Maybe Carrick Azul. Actually, Carrick Azul should be our focus for this. There's salt there. It's an unpleasant climate for us Bretonnians, but without a lord inside the keep, we can actually fight this and win. Bretonnian peasant units are pretty weak, all things considered. I'm really hoping that Lord Eddie's able to regen these guys a little bit, but he'll have 2 paladins with him, so should be good. Just let the other nations go, and then on our next turn we will send Lord Adadon out to possibly deal with some Vampire Coast stuff. Again, I don't really know for sure if it's going to be that way or not. And we'll see what the Empire gets up to, because, well, they're the Empire. Man, it would be really nice to see a lot of the stuff to the northeast, but I don't really want to send a scout up there. But we are getting to see what the Empire is doing in the southeast, and they're kind of just taking over the border princes, really. Warrior Priests of Sigmar are kind of cool. Probably one of my favorite Empire-themed units. Remind me of clerics from D&D. Only a lot cooler. Well, a lot cooler in some ways. And the dwarves and the mutinous Gits are now at war. That could be very opportunistic for us. Could also be very disastrous for the dwarves, but who knows. I'd rather not have to send our troops in to back up a dwarven army that's getting its bearded butts kicked, but bearded butts, that brought a horrible image to mind. And the Empire and the Wood Elves negotiated a truce. Doesn't really bode well for us. So at the very least now they can focus more on us, and if they come out in force, we're going to have a couple of tough fights on our hand. In reality, though, it's our cavalry that could win the day there. It's really tempting to try and go at the Kemrians, too. You know what? We will take a defensive alliance with the dwarves. Well, one set of the dwarves. Kind of curious as to what the mutinous Gits could actually do. Haven't seen their legendary lord in a while. No, we are not accepting a non-aggression pact with the undead. They are a blight to the Lady's Mercy. So we do have a toll keeper now. And Ahriman has leveled up, so let's get him... Oh, tough call. Let's get him a Pegasus. I like the Pegasi. So we can ignore him. And would you look at that? Adadon leveled up. We're going to get him Route Marcher because he's still pretty low, all things considered. And let's just hope that this doesn't blow up in our face. On our next turn we'll be able to do that Skull Reef. Can't really recruit any more troops though because our cash flow is not in the greatest place ever. I'm really debating whether or not we should just hit the Wood Elves hard. I don't think we really have the forces for it, to be perfectly honest. Let's see how Eddie is doing. He's not gaining back that many troops. We can get an iron mine installed there, which will bring up our income a little bit. Not sure exactly how this is going to play out. This is kind of our big stumbling block here. Oh well, let's let the other nations go, and I forgot to move Phoenix manually again. Black iron mine is an iron mine too, so since we got the improved smelters, getting iron mines on our side is a good idea. More of them we have, the more coin per turn we can accrue. And where are you going, Gelt? Are you just taking the waterway down to help the Myrmidons, or help the assault on the Myrmidons? He kind of passed the beach, so I don't think he's going there. Maybe he's going after Khemri? That would definitely put the Empire in a much, much better place. And on this turn, I think we're going to try to get the dwarves more passable with us. I mean, they're right across the woods from us. And Grimgor is going to go after Drakenhof? It's kind of amazing that the orcs were so strong for so long, and now they're just getting hammered from pretty much everybody. I'm wondering if that's going to be the fate that the Empire has. And now the orcs are trying to mess with us. Alright, so Doden's still doing his thing. I don't think Durthu's got any more units as reinforcements. We'd suffer some attrition going through there, but it might be worth it to go after the Waterfall Palace. And there's Khemri itself. That army looked like it got beaten up a little bit. They're usually full stacks when it comes to Tomb Kings. There's no upkeep on their armies, and their troops cost very little to raise from the sands. So they're usually strong. But right now, seeing a weakened, beat-up stack, they may have either lost a good battle or won one with extreme casualties. We knew those were going to happen. Let's see if we can get you to assassinate someone. Oh, a success, and that gives us a toll keeper. Another 12% to the tax rate. We should get specialist on him, though.
King Lewin.
You have you do not have a toll keeper. See if we can pass out a few toll keepers to our lords, because they're the only ones that can actually use them. Guess we only had the 2. That's fine. Dame Yelena can just stay there and be chill with everything. Eddie, how are your forces doing? Still not recovering. Well, let's get you outside of Iron Rock itself and put you in a camp stance. There we go. There's some yellow on their bars, meaning they're healing. Or regenerating troops, as the case may be. Alright, so it is the new version of it. So we're going to raid the cove and see how it fares. And that's a lot of the Dark Elves, including dragons, manticores, and Acaribitis. It's got to be a specialist type of Hydra. This is going to be a tough fight. Our infantry is fairly decent compared to theirs. They outgun us. Harpies I'm not so worried about. And our Knights of the Realm can take on the monsters, I'm hoping. It's just going to come down to a matter of who gets to hit who first. So let's make our Polemen, Swordsmen, and our Archers all different groups. Alright, Polemen up front with Swordsmen, Archers, and Lord Aetodon. Keep our Knights Errant on this side. Keep our Knights of the Realm a little bit back just in case we have to deal with the dragon once it's landed. That's a lot of Dark Elves. A lot of Dark Elves. 2 Black Dragons, 2 Feral Manticores. Aetodon, you're going to be in for a tough fight. That's all I'm going to say. At least they have no artillery. Let's swing our Knights around to the right-hand flank. I'm hoping that these dragons don't just come over and breathe, because that would suck. But it is an entirely realistic expectation given how dragons work. One of them's peeling off. And there's the breath that I was worried about. Seems like the monsters are going after everything. That Black Dragon's on the ground. Our Knights of the Realm can deal with him. I'm really hoping that Aetodon can do some massive damage here. Black Dragon's losing. Harpies are losing decisively. This dragon's winning though, and now we've got the Carbitis that's coming in. So many individual tiny fights. They're causing our knights to basically withdraw and retreat so easily. But this Black Dragon's getting chopped down by our Knights of the Realm, so they're in a decent position. If we can beat all of their infantry, then we may stand a chance against their monsters. Our Knights Errant are definitely suffering from this. We may have to pull Aetodon out and get him to start running. It's not looking too dire right now. It's not looking good either. I was expecting Vampire Coast units, not full-on Druki. Come on, you gotta keep that black dragon in combat so he can't run.
Knights errant, withdraw! Bound by honor!
And our infantry is just getting wasted. I think we might have to withdraw from this one. Not a great way to start things off, but
Be gone, fell creatures! Moving apace!
better than losing an entire army stack.
Knights errant! Brave knights, smite them! Knights of the realm!
Come on, guys, catch up to that dragon. Don't let him get into the air.
Ride them down!
Adon can pop his health potion. Our infantry side is completely collapsed. I think it's time that we got our people the heck out of here.
Withdraw! Withdraw!
Yikes, that was a lot of losses. We lost more than they have remaining, and we hurt that black dragon pretty decently. But it was definitely not how I thought things would go. So we'll have to upgrade Adon's army to cover that. So the next time that we go after one of those
Protector of the
things,
Very well.
we don't get completely skippered by it. That's the word I'm going to go with. Probably not the right word to use, but it's the word I'm going to go with.
Blessings of the
We just need Eddie's troops to regen enough that we can start moving them out.
True knight of Bretonia.
Don't really want you to assault the garrison, but we're going to keep you moving back and forth in here right now. Phoenix. Then we're going to have to make a choice on what we do with the woods. We'll at least wait until we get Forest Sedge Decree in place. So we'll let the other nations go and see what they do. Franz looks like he's going to go help out the siege of Ekrund. And if Kemp helps out, they're going to win that fight pretty easily. And they raised it. Wondering why they would do that instead of just occupying it. But it is what it is. Maybe they'll occupy it too. And Mr. von Kludberg, no idea what he's doing. Oh, warning or trying to assassinate the Orc and Goblin chieftain? Goblin chieftain? Little green dude with a pointy nose, big ears, no wisdom, no lightsaber, and a lot of teeth. That's pretty much how I describe all goblins. So Gelt, are you going after Grunty Mingol, though? I almost went full dyslexia and inverted letters in those words. See what the rest of the Empire's moves turn out to be. We definitely need to get a good shot in the arm as far as our economy goes. It's been rather low this entire playthrough, and if we can get it to support a little bit more, then we'll be able to not only raise additional armies, but beef up the ones that we have. Instead of swordsmen and spearmen, we can have polemen, which are a lot better. They're not as good in lasting long in a fight, but when they charge, they get a stupid strong bonus. So it's worth having them around. And I wonder if Grimgor is going to raid some more Imperial settlements. Looks like he is. He might actually take that one. And he's damaging walls, which doesn't help. And again, Doden failed to assault our units, which is a good thing. Means less time sitting around waiting for replenishment to happen so that we can actually fight. And Cambry's still moving that king. I don't know where he's supposed to end up, but he's been kind of jumping in and out of the frame there for a little while. Kedskaf, don't know what he's doing either. Be nice if we could take Bel Eliad, but with the Eye of the Panther in their control too, even if it just got damaged, it's a sideline that I don't want to open up. Yeah, we'll take a military alliance with our dwarven friends. The fact that we are stronger than Kislev, at least militarily, is worrying in the extreme. Means they're not going to be as much of a speed bump when it comes to certain things later on. Again, foreshadowing. Phoenix gained a point. So might as well grab him another point in Specialist. Give him to assault the garrison here. Which he failed. Of course he failed. We're just ignoring him right now. And Quinnell, you can get a cellar. So we've got Sisters of the Thorn, which are mounted archers, I believe, or magical archers. Spellcaster, Forestalker, very fast. Vanguard deployment. And they are ranged cavalry. Got some Dryads. Spell Slinger of Life, Waystalker. Some Wildwood Rangers. Deepwood Scouts. Glade Riders. Tree Men. Tree Kin. They have a lot of monsters, but we have cavalry that can actually take it on. For the most part.
My strength and wisdom are yours.
Especially the Knights of the Lionhearted. Awesome as they are.
Do you know who I am?
1284 a turn. I don't think we have enough resources right now to do more than another infantry unit. Because we're definitely not going to outshoot them. If we take another unit of fire archers in Grimaldus's group. I swear I can English. My dyslexia is just kind of going off the rails today. So we'll get them some more archers, and then we'll see what everything else is going to do. Adadon can move back to Corone, and then we can get him a couple more knightly units and go back out and see if there's a less involved sea region we can start to plunder. Hey, you not going to colonize Ekrund? Sometimes the other nations confuse me with their strategies. They raid, they pillage, but then they leave something like Ekrund just completely bare. It might be because it's a holy site for the Savage Orcs, but if you wipe the Orcs out, the only way you're going to see them is through rebellion. And those get put down pretty easily. So why not take it? And then just keep pushing. Unless one of the special events that I have not been a participant in yet makes a Savage Orc army somewhere near there. Because if that's the case, then, yeah, Ekrund would be kind of a liability to hold. Still, it is a regional capital, so taking it and holding it is kind of necessary if you're going to use any commandments for the region. It looks like they're kind of mobilizing troops out of where we are. Mr. Volkman. Wonder where he's off to in such a rush. probably down to the southwest to help out the other Empire armies. Well, Wurzeg's still active. So is Grimgor Ironhide, but he's way up north, so not really privy or party to any of this. Alright, Dodan, are you going to try to assault our units again? No, he's actually not this time. Interesting. Haven't really seen the Ratmen too obviously attack anything right now, but we're not really in the areas where they appear most. The southeastern stretch of mountains that looks abandoned on the map, down in this general area here, is probably controlled by Clan Moors. Pestilence is in the jungles of Lustria. There was a couple of them up in the extreme northeast, which is where Clan Moulder usually makes its home, though they're not a legendary faction in this. They're just there because they make all the rat ogres and the big monsters for the Skaven. Clan Ishin, they're the rat assassins. They are a member of the Council of 13, but they're not really one of those upfront dominant clans. They're the assassins, so they kind of just sit in the background. And then the one that's got Craventail as their legendary lord, he's in the northwest on the New World, but I think they might have been beaten down a fair bit. Alright, so we do have the Forest Edge Decree.
My reputation precedes.
So that's going to help us out there.
For now,
And what we're going to do, Adadon, is get you to chill.
if the lady wills it.
Get at least one unit of knights.
Bretonia,
Phoenix, we're going to get you to start swinging around this way.
she calls.
Blessings of the lady be upon
And Eddie is not really regenerating troops, which is terrible.
for Bretonia.
So we're just going to get him to go. He'll be trespassing for a bit. Ooh, that might start a war with them. Crooked Fang Fort is under attack.
I will indulge.
So we'll move around this way.
Very well, if you insist.
Which means Phoenix, you got to go back that way to help out. That's our scout paladin. Lady Janice is leveled up, so third rank in the Ember Spear it is. And new research is available. I think we'll go with the glazing kilns. It's kind of an offshoot, but more money is more gooder.
My strength and wisdom are yours.
Alright, Grimaldus,
For now, yes.
we're going to take the chance.
Lion. Highest, it shall be
We'll keep
so.
Phoenix with you. You guys are going to suffer a bit of attrition. It's not going to work out too well. Well, next turn we can get you sieging, which will drop the attrition, and get Phoenix camped, which will allow him to regen. So that takes care of that. Let's see what the other nations do in response to this. If Durthu comes out, we might have a fight before this week's over. Well, a fight we win, at least. No insult implied or intended to Adadon, he was just overmatched. 2 black dragons, 2 feral manticores, and the Carbidus? I have no idea. Some of the names for monsters are weird. A lot of old lore, even in the real world, like, yeah, they're just strange names. I'm sure if you had no context seeing Wendigo for the first time, or Ogopogo, be kind of hard to grasp the pronunciation and sense around it. It looks like they did take Ekrond with one of their back wave generals who headed back up there. Must have missed that. I am curious if the Empire is going to commit all of its strength to pushing south, though. Because if it is, then, well, Phooey? It'll leave a lot of territory for us to back capture if we have to. I don't want to. I really don't want to stop fighting with the Wood Elves either, but if a certain event happens, then we have to fight with the Wood Elves and a very, very, very powerful enemy too. Thankfully, we have Knights Errant and Questing Knights that can deal with a lot of infantry, especially heavily armored infantry in the case of the Questing Knights. Those great swords they carry are no laughing matter. They deal a lot of damage. That said, the faction that would be showing up is completely outshootable even by us. And Phoenix got wounded. No. Missed that too. Really gotta start paying a little bit more attention. Now, Durthu, are you coming out? No, you're abandoning the Waterfall Palace. And that's all it looks like he's going to do, is just abandon the palace. Looks like that king finally got himself a chariot, and they're doing a lot of raiding in the Knights of Origio territory. Almost might be worth confederating with them just to have a lord in the south. Not really sure what Ziflin has planned overall, though. They're definitely weaker than the Ever Peaks King. Wow, that came out a lot more strained than I thought it would. Alright, so Phoenix got wounded. They assaulted a garrison.
You know who I am. Attack! Slay them!
Alright, Grimaldus will throw the Wailing Banner onto the Questing Knights. Armor Piercing onto the Knights of the Realm. Strider, toss on that unit of Knights Errant. Looks like he's still suffering attrition. Sometimes it's hard to get them positioned where you want them.
Moving out. I will indulge you.
And Phoenix is now encamped, restoring his numbers.
Attack!
But that'll be the very, very, very start of next week, guys. So if you liked the video, please consider hitting that like button. If you'd like to join up with the 232, possibly pop up in this or other Let's Plays, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn your notifications on so you don't miss when a new video goes out. And remember, guys, life is a game, so play to win. And until next time, take care.